Have you ever wondered who this person is, who's always with Gary Vee whenever he's doing anything music related? Whether he's interviewing Gunna or talking to Nipsey Hussle, he's always sitting off to the side. This is Mike Boyd Jr. Mike is the head of music and A&R at Gary Vee's ad agency, VaynerMedia. He's been in the music scene since he was in college, when he started off making interviews with a bunch of rappers before they even blew up. For example, he did one with Wiz Khalifa before he even had 20,000 Twitter followers. He's been doing crazy things ever since with Gary Vee, such as putting Megan Thee Stallion in a Super Bowl commercial a couple years ago. Now, I flew out all the way from Toronto to New York to see what his insights were for the rising rappers and artists of this generation. I got to ask him a bunch of cool stuff, such as how to really network, especially with him, and how to get on his radar. He also went over some cool stories, like a lesson that he learned from Big Sean about performances. I really hope you guys enjoy this interview. There are a bunch of cuts because of the way this video was shot. I think it came out to be like almost an hour long, which is kind of crazy, and I wanted to cut it down so it's a little easier to watch. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this interview. If you're not already following us on Instagram, definitely check us out. Link in the description. Always pushing out content there. But yeah, enjoy.
A lot of times when I meet these artists, I don't even check their streaming numbers.
Yeah.
And not even necessarily on purpose, I just don't even look at it. I forget to look at it.
Yeah.
And then later, I'm like, whoa, I thought you were like huge and you have like 5,000 streams.
I mean, that's probably a good sign, right? If you think they're big and you don't even know their numbers. And so like, what else do you kind of look for in an artist when you're looking for new artists, when you listen to new music? Like what are the green flags? What are the red flags?
I listen to the music immediately. I'm looking for a different lingo. For example, people say, like, let's say you're saying the same stuff, but you're saying it in a different way. If you were like, hey, I walked into VaynerMedia to do this, that, whatever, but then, and that was really common, a common way to say it, but then someone else used different words, they pronounced the words differently. They said the same exact thing you're saying, but they said it in a way I've never heard anyone say it before. That is huge for me.
Really?
Yeah, huge, 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 because it shows that they're bringing something fresh to the table. At least it's an indicator for me to go deeper.
Yeah.
Because they're probably bringing something fresh to the table.
Yeah.
They probably have different experiences. There's something going on in their lives that helped them say it that way. And because I never heard it, it could lead to something new. It could be the beginning of a following and a movement that is different than everyone else I've heard. So that's like huge, just huge.
Yeah, you know what that makes me think of? Because obviously like rappers, especially like right now since hip hop is so big, it has a huge influence. So like there's always like new lingo being passed around. I feel like if there's a new lingo you probably haven't heard of, there's definitely like a community of like people that say it like that.
Yeah.
And if you haven't heard that, that means those people haven't been spoken to. And so if you push those artists, they can reach that audience. Do you have like a New York sort of like bias then? I feel like if like you're bringing artists into here, or do you just like anywhere, like anyone, anywhere?
Anyone, anywhere. No, what's weird is I tell the team, I actually want to go harder in New York. It's kind of funny. Like we're so all over the place as far as supporting artists from different locations.
Yeah.
We recently looked at all of the artists we've brought in the past few months and where they call home, like their home base, where they're living right now.
Yeah.
And Mexico City was number one.
Really?
Yeah, Mexico City, then Atlanta, then Los Angeles, then New York, I think.
Really?
Isn't that strange?
I can see LA for sure, but Mexico City is interesting. I know you guys are, I mean, I checked your Monday to Monday last week and you had a lot of Latin artists there. Could that be maybe why?
You know what? It is interesting. You know why though? Is because I recently went to Mexico City.
Okay.
And then I brought 8 musicians into the office at the same time. So that gave it an unfair bump.
Yeah.
But still, the facts are the facts.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. You know what? I'll tell you a story about the facts being the facts. I met Big Sean a lot of times.
Okay.
Before he like made it, quote unquote. And one time I asked him about Mike Posner because Mike Posner had a viral video, maybe his first viral video of him performing in college.
Yeah.
And he performed, I don't know if it was Duke or whatever, but he performed in college and the crowd was so crazy.
Really?
Like just so crazy. But he went there. Like that was his school.
Yeah.
And I asked Big Sean, I was like, hey, you know, like, is that real? I was like, is that a real reaction? Or is that because it's his school? Is that because like he's in this group? Like maybe he's in a frat and that was their event?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, I was just like, is that real?
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if it's real. Because like you mentioned, like maybe I'm New York biased. I'm not New York biased, but it's a good question because regionally, when you're closer to a region, you think people, it's easy to think someone is bigger than they are because they're bigger in your small circle. But you know what he said? And I think about it all the time. He said people showing up and being hyped is real no matter what, even if they're your friends or family, because people don't just do that.
Yeah.
And like he wasn't even commenting on whether or not those people knew him, Mike Posner or not. He was just saying the fact that happened.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, that would be hard to do in your grade school cafeteria.
Yeah.
He's like, people don't just show up and raise their hands.
Yeah.
And they could show up and not clap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like these people were moved to clap. If you look at the video, it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's not, if I remember correctly, it's a lot of people.
That's huge. That's sick.
Yeah.
So you definitely, how many artists do you usually like bring in on like a yearly, monthly kind of basis?
Into the ad agency, at least. So myself personally, I bring in probably 4 a month at least. My team, they're bringing in probably 20 a week.
Okay.
And that's rough. That's like, you know, more or less, but 20 a week, I say that because, you know, 5 days a week, sometimes we get 2 artists in here a day. Sometimes it's 4. Sometimes, I mean, if we go nuts with it, or like if I have an event and I bring in 5 that day, but then also 3 came in that day, you know, that right there is 8.
Yeah.
You know, you do the math, but yeah, we're bringing artists come here all the time because they come to New York all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
So we have advantage of being in this city. Almost no matter where you're at in the United States, if you're in a certain genre or this or that, your press, your PR will bring you here. Not always, but it's a popular place to go do your promo run.
Yeah. And so when you bring these artists in, is it for like ad related, like are you trying to like do partnerships with them, or is it like just relationship building, or?
It's everything that you mentioned. It's really it's relationships. Also, it's to get to know them.
Yeah. Okay.
And for them to get to know me and the company, because once you know someone, it's easier to work with them for a lot of reasons. But one of them is because I understand what the person, how they're thinking, and a little bit of, I guess, what they want.
Yeah.
But not in a weird way. I know what they want because it helps me because I'm able to help give them what they want. But some people might say that and they say it in the sense of like, oh, I'm going to trick them. Like I give them what they want and they're going to give me more.
Yeah.
It's not like that. It's just, I know how to work with them because I know what their goals are.
Yeah.
So if I come to them and I'm like, hey, there's a situation where not only are you going to get money, you're going to be able to work with a brand in a category you like, and I know on the side you want to be a model, and this is a photo shoot. You know, it helps me get the perfect match if it's related to work. If we never work together, it's still cool to know people.
Yeah.
Because you never know where that's going to go.
And so for an artist that's up and coming right now that might not have been on your radar already, like what's something that they can do, or like how can they get on your radar?
My particular radar?
Yeah.
Spam me, for real.
Yeah.
Someone spammed me and I checked them out. They were so good.
Oh, really?
I supported them. I still support them. I put them in a campaign. Everything. Yeah, it was just crazy, the amount of spam. It was just like, it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it worked because, well, it worked for me. It worked for the person's goal because I always listen to the music.
Yeah.
And if you know what I mean? I'll listen to the music no matter who it is.
Yeah.
If I have the time, it's kind of hard to have the time, but it's easier to listen to someone when they're spamming you because it's always top of mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I say it all the time, like, spam me, do whatever, I don't care. Sometimes I open my DMs and listen to their music, whoever's like, DMing it. That's how I met this one guy in Atlanta that I really support. I just opened my DM one time. I thought his like artwork was nice.
Yeah.
Listened to it. I don't even think he had any song over 1,000 plays, but I really liked it. Because you know what's crazy is everyone starts like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you really want to find someone early, it doesn't matter how many plays they have, because that's what you're trying to do anyway. Yeah. But yeah, so if someone has 0 play, if someone isn't even on Spotify, which is cool, I like Spotify because it shows you the plays publicly. If someone isn't even on the platforms, like, I still don't care.
Yeah.
Because why would I care?
Because it's all about the music.
Yeah, the music, the person.
One thing I want to ask, because I think this is one of the, especially for like introverted people, like I like to think that I'm a little introverted. Sometimes it's like, I don't want to follow up too many times. And I think a lot of artists feel that way, just like general creatives.
Yeah.
They don't want to follow up too many times because they don't want to seem annoying and maybe set like a bad reputation. Or like, let's say, because like I feel like for me, it's like I always think like if I spam this guy one more time, he's literally going to like block me. And then anytime someone brings me up, he's like, oh, I hate that guy. Like,
yeah.
So like, what's like the line you think? Because I mean, you say that you could just keep spamming, but do you think there's a line where it's like, you just have to stop or you have to kind of cut it out?
I mean, everyone's different, and you might be spamming someone on a bad day.
Yeah.
Like, some people, people have bad days,
Yeah.
Some people don't want to be spammed.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Everyone's different. Everyone thinks like that. Like, if I hit up someone who's a big shot to me and I text them like 3 times in a row and they don't text me back, I could feel that way. Mm-hmm. You know what I do, though? A lot of times nowadays is, I've been doing it for a while, but I text people because I want them to get the message. And I don't care if they hit me back. You know what I mean? Because I'm sending what I need them to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I text Gary something, who's the CEO of the ad agency, Gary V.
Yeah, Gary V.
If I text him something, it's because I want him to see it. Mm-hmm. I don't care if he texts me back. Because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can reply and be like, cool. Like, you know what I mean? I don't need that. But a lot, we talk all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, we talk every day, but you know what I mean? That's not why I text. I text someone because I want to send that text,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And like, the next step is theirs,
Yeah.
But life is short, man. Like, who cares? In the sense of like, do what you want, you'll learn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Annoy people until they block you.
Yeah.
And then figure out a different way to reach out.
Yeah. One of the questions I like asking a lot is, what in a perfect DM to you, or if you're sending a DM to someone else, a cold email, cold DM, what are the elements you always try to include, and what are your do's and don'ts when you're reaching out cold?
Never copy and paste.
Okay.
Ever.
Yeah.
I don't like that. But it's so fake.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the worst.
So personalization? It
doesn't even have to be that personal. But if you send me if I send someone a DM and I'm like, hey, love what you're doing, bro. Like, I'd love to jam. If you're in New York, come through the office. Honestly, like, your work's just crazy. Send in love, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, people know I didn't copy and paste it because it's like, it's weird. Yeah. Like, the sentences I sent, what I said, the punctuation, it's just weird. Like, and I meant it, and I spell everything correctly. You don't have to be like that, but it'd be too weird to be copying and pasting that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't even apply to everyone. But, that shows that it's legit. Sometimes when I really need to get to someone or want to and it's super cold, what I do is I leave a comment on a post and I say something like, yo, about to shoot you a DM, I work at VaynerMedia with Gary V.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Classic.
That's weird. Like, no one No one says that.
Yeah.
So then someone might know who Gary is, and they'll be like, oh, shoot. Or they're like, ad agency. And then I send the DM, and I'm like, would love to jam, blah, blah, blah. Oh, a good way to DM for me, put my phone number first. Because then, you know, even if I half know someone, put the phone number first, because then when they look at it, they're like, whoa. You know what I mean? Like, why would this person give me their phone number?
Yeah.
Put your email, you know, because it's pretty legit. If I give someone my phone number, it's kind of like this DM is different. It's kind of serious.
Yeah, especially if it's like someone that's not, I mean, if it's like a hotshot or someone big, you know. Yeah, but like someone especially like up and coming, I can see that. I definitely, a lot of people do like the whole check DM thing, but I feel like when you add that extra bit, it's like, hey, I'm reaching out to you. Because like check DM, that feels
check
very
DM
copy
is it's kind of mean, right?
Yeah, I feel like
it's a command.
I feel like not 10 years ago, but like 5-6 years ago when I first heard about that trick, not a lot of people were doing it. I swear the trick for producers was like you wait until like 3 a.m. where you're like, all right, this guy might be in the studio. Like nobody's doing it. Like nobody's really interacting with them. Or if they're all live, then you're like, hey, like check your DM. Live is huge. I wanted to ask you, because you not only do this ad stuff at Vayner, but you also do a lot of stuff, like you manage Richie South. And I wanted to ask you, like, in terms of producers or artists looking for management, when do you think is too early? Or when do you think is the perfect time to start looking for management? And then also like building a team out?
Yeah, the perfect time to have a manager is when you need one, meaning like when the work requires someone. You know what I mean? Like some people, they didn't even sell a beat.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get a manager.
Yeah.
If the manager's not playing a role, then it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you don't have to stress about getting a good manager if there's nothing to manage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Kind of, that's not for step one all the time. If you have an opportunity to get a manager who could open a door for you, then yeah, maybe look into it.
Yeah.
But also, I think a lot of the best managers are just friends, family, because they're gonna go hard for you, like, no matter what.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like, that's the type of person you need.
Yeah, that's true. Is there like any elements other than management that you think is crucial to an artist team beyond that?
Yeah, lawyer, because the lawyers all know each other.
Yeah. Anyone on the creative side? Like videographers, stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. Video people are great. Let's see. I haven't managed a musician, and I would say someone who's like a social media expert.
Okay. Yeah, that's huge right now.
Yeah, I think that's pretty important.
Do you think that everybody should be doing content? Like everyone should be like in front of the camera? Or do you think for certain people, for example, like an indie artist that's more introverted, rather than like a rapper that's very extroverted, that might not be super like comfortable in front of the camera or even good in front of the camera?
Yeah.
Do you think that everybody should be doing content, or there's certain people that should look for other ways, or maybe other ways of doing content at all?
Yeah, I think it depends on your goals and what's working. Because, you know, I think a lot of musicians don't have time to do everything. Like they can't post on LinkedIn, Snap, TikTok, IG. And even if it was like humanly possible for them, they just might not want to do it. So I think if you're the type of person who's really killing it by just posting images on an IG, that's great. And maybe you don't need to do selfie videos on a different platform.
Yeah.
If you're a great person who's posting on LinkedIn, doing selfie videos there, which is like a new hot thing on LinkedIn, then maybe you don't need to do it on TikTok. But it's about your goals too, because making music is one thing, but then music business is another thing. And you kind of get what you deserve a lot of times. And people might be mad to hear that, but the thing is like, if you're not doing something, then why would you expect the results, right? Yeah. So it's like, if you want to have a lot of social media buzz, if you want your song to pop off, but you're not doing things to make it pop off, you can't really be mad when it doesn't happen. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you don't want to make TikToks and you don't want to make IG and you don't want to do selfies, like, that's on you, and you got to deal with it. Because if you are like, hey, I don't want to do any of this, then don't do it, but don't expect the results as if you did do it.
Yeah.
So it's really all about goals, you know? And I do think that sometimes artists should realize that maybe the goal could be to perform in your city. Maybe that's the end goal. You know what I mean? Not everyone needs to do stadiums.
Okay.
And not everyone can do stadiums, you know? Even some of the biggest musicians in certain genres, you know, they're not doing stadiums. Stadiums are hard.
Yeah,
Baseball stadiums, football stadiums, like that is not easy at all.
Yeah.
But that doesn't need to be everyone's goal. Because, you know, work-life balance, health, you know, some people, it might be better for some people not to go that hard. Because they could still be happy and live longer. Potentially, you know what I mean? Like, you got to really figure out, like, what you want to do.
What has been, because you've had a very long and like fruitful career. Obviously, you're a legend, and I want to ask you, like, what's like been the most, two questions. What's been the most fun thing you've done in your career so far, and what's been the most rewarding and like the thing that you cherish the most in your career?
Man, I don't know. It's so crazy. I'm never ready to answer it.
Yeah.
I just never am. Someone asked recently, they said, hey, what was the best interview that you ever set up with Gary, that like you ever sat in or helped co-interview with Gary? And I was like being honest, because you know what I mean? Like, why not or whatever? I was thinking about it, then I was like, yeah. I said it in front of the whole office in Mexico City, and I told him, and it was like totally irrelevant. And I was like, there's no way you guys would know, but it was like this one artist, and we like went deep on like business or whatever. And then the person asking the question was like, they're like, I mean, like, tell him that you work with Snoop Dogg. I was like, oh, got you. But the most fun. Well, I mean, we have studio sessions where I connect musicians with each other past the aux cord. I introduce everyone. I'm like, hey, this is an artist from Atlanta, and this is why I believe in them, and I'm gonna play you 3 songs, and then I let the artist talk about their music. Then I have an artist from Mexico talk about their music and introduce themselves, play their songs. Recently, it was a pretty cool one in hindsight. It was a lot of fun when we were there too, but Tia Karen, who I like a whole lot, she played her song and music video for Freaky T. I love that song. So that song, it came out. She was playing the music video, played the song for everyone. Not everyone even knew it yet. And then I introduced her to some important people, whatever. And also, by the way, on the couch was a Caribou.
Dude.
Yeah, but this was like a year and a half ago or something.
Damn. So that's like before she even released that much music, isn't it?
Yeah. I think she had just released her, her first song on Spotify or whatever.
Yeah.
Who knows how long she had been making music or anything like that.
Yeah.
But so then we pulled up her music video for whatever song that is. If you go to her Spotify right now, it's like the first one. And she played that for everyone.
That's so.
And I have it on I feel like we film everything. I have it on camera. I went up to her because I didn't actually know who she was. It was like she was a friend of a friend who like brought into the studio. They were like, "Yo, can I bring this person in?" And it's like, "Of course." So I didn't know who she was. And then when she played it, I went up to her and I was like, "Yo, that was crazy, blah blah blah," and it's on camera. So I I actually do talk to her on IG or text or whatever when it's appropriate, like when I have to say something. But I want to post it. I want to post it.
You got to.
Yeah.
I feel like you could literally make an Instagram page with just all, because you definitely have like so much footage like that if you're always recording. That would be so sick. Tell me about the people that you're kind of looking at right now. I know on the Monday to Monday, Obed Padilla, Anicia, Tommy Richmond, which is huge.
Huge.
Love Tommy Richmond, Cash Cobain, Millie Goleli. Is there anyone else that you're kind of looking at right now?
Yeah. My guy Quez For Real, always supporting him. He's in Atlanta. He's from a cool part of Atlanta. Let me see here. I got to pull up the playlist. It's so crazy, man.
Yeah, this week's was awesome. I heard ATM by Anicia off that. That's instantly added to the playlist.
I love that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Produced by Jetson.
Yeah. Let me see here. The playlist is interesting because It started off, Devante, do you know who he is?
Can I see?
He's in Toronto. Man, but the funny thing you asked me that is because I really do support so many artists and I love their music, but it's one of those things when people ask you on the spot and you're like, dang. All right, yeah, I mean, okay, Ray-Ban, she's a sick artist in Mexico City. So sick. DJ,
Nice.
DJ producer, she's using her vocals as of late. She's awesome.
Yeah.
And then
Also, is the Monday to Monday like basically your personal playlist, or do you also have you just like put whatever you're listening to, or do you have like another music taste that?
no, it's never what I listen to.
Oh, okay.
Never.
Interesting.
But the people I listen to do often make it onto the playlist.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I'm like listening to these new artists. Man, I'm still trying to look for you. I'm listening to these new artists, so they'll make the playlist because I'm trying to listen to stuff that's good, you know? It was never supposed to be.
Okay.
What it was originally was I would text Gary V MP3s because it was that long ago. So I would be like, hey, man, this song is crazy. Hey, man, like, you got to check this out, XYZ, because Gary loves music.
Yeah.
He loves music and he loves sports and, you know, obviously other stuff, but he loves music. So keep him up to date. And then when Spotify was created, we turned that into a playlist because it was like easier.
Yeah.
Because texting MP3s is weird.
So it was made to send him, like playlist you make to send. Okay, sick.
But it's public facing. So it was like, these are the songs that I want Gary to hear. But it's kind of cool because now it's public facing. Yeah. And not everyone understands that and not everyone gets it, and it's no big deal because it's like I never really tell people that because no one asked me. Yeah. But yeah, that's how it started. And you know, because that's what I do. I find these new artists and I got to keep everyone updated. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
With what's hot, you know, because like I said, Gary loves music, so it's like got to share the music.
Yeah. And honestly, like I know this is like a common thing, or not a common thing, but like everyone obviously knows this. But one of like the thing that I think you guys do so well, and like what I respect you guys so much for, is just the fact that we spoke about it before. Like you guys put on artists like that have like like monthly listeners, but you still do it.
That's what I like to do.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I think it's what needs to happen because obviously like music is becoming pretty top heavy. Like you know it's like huge, right? There needs to be like obviously like Spotify, SoundCloud does it well, like highlighting like smaller artists, but like, you know, you got to push against that in the music industry to like, you know, that's one of my missions. I really want to do that, you know, and I feel like that's something you guys do so well.
I have a great track record with finding young artists who become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and supporting them because you know what it is a lot of these artists remind me of myself.
Really?
Yeah. And then I hear in their voice the hunger and the pain and like the motivation, the like, you know, like the chip on their shoulder. Like I hear it. I could hear it. It just like attacks my ear. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then it's like I got to support it. Yeah. I got to reach out. I got to say, hey, I'm listening to your music all the time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the reasons I'm listening to the young artists is because it sounds better to me. Yeah. Sometimes people ask me, hey, what should I listen to? Or they're like, yo, I know you're like the music guy. What put me on? And it's hard because sometimes I listen to music that like a lot of people would say is bad. Okay. A lot. Yeah. Like quote like, oh, that's no good. Or, why would you send me this quote trash or whatever? But I'm listening to it all the time because I like the emotion. Mm-hmm. That's what I like. I like emotion, and I like I said, people, the way they're speaking. I hear a lot of things that I've heard my whole life in certain lyrics, sayings. I know a lot about people based on what they're saying. So when I hear it, like that's what I want to hear. Mm-hmm. Like big shot artists, sometimes it's too polished. They've been in the game for too long. You know, it's like if I have to listen to it, I'll listen to it. Yeah. But I like the people who are more like creating on the spot. Yeah. Yeah. Like something, I would rather hear a song that's quote wrong than, you know, like a hit.
Yeah.
Way more.
I feel that. The last question I'll ask you is there any other key piece of advice you give to someone that's like a young artist, producer that's really trying to make it, and especially if they want to get on your radar?
Yeah. You know what's crazy is I'm just one person, for real. And I think people are like, oh, you know what? I got to get to this guy's ear. Oh, you know what? I need to hit this or hit that. It's like, you know, it's not that serious.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if you hit me and I support you, that, you know, that is what it is for you, whatever that means. But like, if I don't support an artist, it doesn't mean they're bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone, from my experience, a lot of people get better and better and better. So like, let's say you just hit me at the wrong time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I don't hear you. I don't see the DM or the text or, you know, whatever. It doesn't mean you're bad. It just means that I didn't hear you. But again, I'm only one person.
Yeah.
And some, you know, things are subjective. Even if I try my hardest not to be subjective, it's still subjective at some point. But I do try I try to remove myself from the equation. Sometimes I playlist things that like I would never listen to, ever. And it still gets playlist because it deserves to be playlist for a certain reason.
Yeah.
It's like the Gary thing. It's like, I need Gary to hear this.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's not like he listens to every single song I playlist, but it's like, it might be a song that everyone in this whole office hates, but I need people to hear it.
Yeah.
Because I see where it's going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I see what this person is doing right now, and I could see where it could go, you know, because nothing's guaranteed, but it's like, this person's making a song. I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
But I could see them changing, getting better, figuring this out. And I could see them being one of the biggest artists in the world. So we all need to acknowledge that.
Oh, yeah.
And like keep an eye on it. But yeah, you know, spam me. Spam. Because I don't care. Like spam me. DM me. But like I said, it's not that serious. There's a lot of things you could do. You don't have to get to me. Yeah. But I do like to support. So, get the Tyler Walsh, get the Marcus on my team in Atlanta. Do whatever you got to do, man.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Anyway, man, that's it for the question. Thank you so much for coming out or for speaking with me, man.
Oh, yeah.